Hello friends! I don't know about you, but I personally cannot and will not pass up any opportunity I get to sit in the sunshine. I am so much more myself in the warmer weather, in the sunshine. So when spring hits, you better believe that as soon as it hits 60 degrees outside, tank top comes on and I just sit on my porch as much as I possibly can. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Like I said, spring is coming, which means the new year is coming. Because we all know that the new year never starts in the dead of winter. Even if they want to try to make us believe that it does, it absolutely does not. What I wanted to talk about and share today is something that absolutely takes a level of maturity to grasp and understand, because you don't learn it until you've reached a level of maturity. When you are awakening, when things are starting to make more sense in this crazy world that we're living in, when the pieces of the puzzle start coming together perfectly, you become a little Nancy Drew. It's extremely difficult to keep in the truth that you now believe, because once you awaken, you can never go back to sleep. I think we all know this on some level, especially if you're watching my videos or any of the other truthers videos. There are different levels to awakening. There is the awakening in religious, spiritual way. There's awakening in the political way. There's awakening in the health way, in the way of health. And everyone starts at a different place. I personally started in the religious way, and not the way that most people that watch my channel and whatnot probably think and realize. Because I had my spiritual awakening in a very gentle way, in a way that still feels very true to who I am and what I believe. But some people, are awakened by what's going on in the world right now and the political atmosphere. And some are awakened by the health arena. And, all things concerning that. But I think one of the hardest things to realize when you start awakening is that the people that you once were on the same page with and once connected to so easily, you probably won't connect to as easily anymore. You won't resonate and vibe with them on the same level at all anymore, or in that way. And that can be an extremely hard thing to come to terms with. And one of the hardest things to understand is that they, especially if they have not started their journey of awakening, they will never see it like you do. Even when they do start to awaken, they will never see it like you do. I wouldn't say that I've lost friends, but I definitely have moved past a lot of people. And it's not to say that I'm this spiritual guru, whatever, but there are things that I just wholeheartedly believe and understand and can't close my eyes to. And they might still be there where they can close their eyes to it. But I think one of the most difficult things to realize is the value in actually keeping your mouth shut until they start to ask you questions. I talk to so many people online, especially, talking about how their friends and family just won't hear what they have to say. They won't hear, the crazy things going on in the world and like the truth that we believe about it and everything. They just won't hear it. They just shut their ears off to it, and there's so much fighting happening in families and friendships and just relationships in general, all because these people just will not hear it. And we think that they are the problem, when really, when you give a baby a steak and they have no teeth, what do you expect to happen? The baby's just gonna kind of like suck on it, and you're like, no, you need to chew it. But they have no ability to chew it yet because they don't have the resources to enjoy the steak. So giving people information that they are not ready for yet is just as detrimental as them still being asleep to it. You cannot make anyone progress on their journey. They choose where they're going to go, how far they're going to go, what they believe. They choose it. And I 100% believe that there is so much more harm than good that happens when you try to force something on someone. No one likes being forced to do anything. And it's kind of the concept of the more clingy and the more persistent you are, the more they draw away. And that is the opposite of what you want to happen. The reason that I even started my t-shirt shop was because I came to the realization that I could not make anyone believe anything, and I could not help anyone on their spiritual awakening, on their journey, by yelling at them. All I can do is simply plant the seeds and ask them questions and get them to start thinking for themselves. We are all extremely stubborn beings. We're so stubborn, and I realized that from the first time that I tried to explain to one of my best friends this revelation essentially I had about something, and it just totally went in one ear and out the other, and I could just see it happening. And it caused this disconnect between me and her, because I was talking about something that she was absolutely not ready for and absolutely not open to hearing. So I found that the greatest way to get people and to prepare a place for people to be open to hearing these things that are far out in their minds is by planting the seeds. Asking them questions that they have a hard time answering themselves. Because if you can find all the answers by yourself of the things that we start to question nowadays, and that we have questioned nowadays, in the truther community and the awakened world, they will realize that they can't answer it within themselves, and they'll start looking for the answer. And then you'll find maybe a few years later they come right back to it and they're like, oh, I thought about this and this. And it takes a lot of maturity to swallow your pride and not say, yeah, remember I told you about that? Just let it go. Let it go. Because honestly, it doesn't matter who told what to who and who started who on their awakening journey. We're all just walking each other home, like Bryce always loves to say, and that it's a Ram Dass quote. So it's not essentially a race of who gets home quicker. but more so, where we go one, we go all. So in the grand scheme of things, it takes a whole lot of maturity to swallow that ego and swallow that pride. And yeah, if you were the one to open someone's eyes to something, fantastic. But it takes a whole lot of discernment to know when that time actually is and when those people will actually be open to hearing what you have to say. Because essentially, when you introduce an idea to someone that is not ready to hear it, it basically causes chaos within them. Because you have put in a programming that their software cannot handle at the moment, that has no reference for within the matrix. And of course, all they have to do is get out of the matrix. But that's a process that we're all still going through. I'm very much still a part of it in tons of ways. And I found that the best way to introduce anything to anyone is just planting the seed and just seeing what they grab onto. And if they drop it, they drop it. But you did your part. So I just wanted to leave that nugget out for today as we move into this new year and in this new land of slight madness. Things are really happening. Things are very much happening in the world, and the tables are turning. The winds of change are blowing, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. I've never been this excited about life my whole life, because I've always saw the corruption and the chaos that we've been living in our entire lives. And now that everyone's getting on the deconstructing of beliefs path that I feel like I have, whether intentionally or unintentionally been a part of most of my life, it's really nice to not be alone in it. So yeah, I'm excited. Also, little bit of a fun thing happening. Bryce is going to be, I'm going to be interviewing Bryce on Friday. We were going to do it yesterday, but then we were like, oh crap, it's Valentine's Day and we have relationships. So, yeah, I'll be interviewing Bryce and asking her questions and getting her to tell more of her story, which I'm very excited about because she interviews so many people and talks to so many people, and I would just love to just know more things about her story. So stay tuned for that. I'll try to get that up on Friday after we film it. But yeah, have a fantastic day. Bye.